Oh. Up you go. All right, I got it. Now what?
You know, look at these two. Pretty well twins of each other, except that's a 93 and this is a 90. Just kind of cool. My dad thought it was cool anyway. I totaled the van the other day. I made a few calls to some junkyards, and I bought myself an 180k mile 2.5 liter out of a 94 Voyager. So we paid $300 for the van. I just paid $350 for an engine that actually allegedly ran. It drove up onto the rollback before it was taken to a junkyard. I guess the story I got on the van was the grandkids didn't like it, and it got junked. So that's that. So they said they're not going to be able to pull it for a couple of weeks just because it is Thanksgiving and it's only 2 of them, and they're pulling like multiple engines a day for people at this rate. So I said that's fine. So I think my plan is to get this one out of here, and I've been game planning, or I've been back and forth. Do I want to pull the transmission out, or do I want to try to leave it, you know, and do the whole hold it up and whatever? I think I'm gonna go and pull them both out, and we'll do the whole clean up the engine bay, remove everything out of here, and make it nice before we put it back in. Which is, you know, that's all right, I guess. And then I suppose while we're waiting for the interior, or so I spoiled that one, waiting for the engine to be pulled, we can get and start pulling the dash, which all of the hardware and stuff like the throttle pedal and all of the nuts for the heater box, super easy to get at right now, so that'll be awesome. Maybe these brake lines up here, they don't look that good, so maybe we start doing brake lines while I got access. I'm just kind of game planning here. Hi, Leo. What do you want? What do you want? What? I'm over here. What? Hi. So here we are in the timeline on this. This is what we're working on right now. And, well, this is what I'm working on, but that's not this video. I don't want to show that in this video, but I'm fine with showing this in that video because timeline, I think. I just bashed the front plate in after I just put those on and cleaned up that license plate bracket, because I tried to start it in gear. Smart man. I straightened it out with a rubber hammer and like an anvil, so you can't hardly tell, but oh, I'm so mad. Look at them. They look so nice together, though. All right, so here's where I'm at. I've got a lot of stuff pulled out of here. I think that computer might be all right. It didn't look that bad just looking at it, so we might be able to use that. Midway through getting the harness out of here, I got all the AC lines out of the way. Battery tray came out, and under the battery tray, we discovered some really bad rust right here. Like, this is a ground cable here, and that is no longer grounded. So, not to mention the battery tray. There's a like a piece here that comes out, and you thread a bolt through it. That's gone. So I don't know about that. I don't know why it rusted really bad right here. It's all the way down here, this seam, which is not a good thing because of that strut. It's only got one horn. It's wired for 2, so high and low, but it's only got 1, which is really odd. It would have bolted here, but like it's not there at all. And like I don't see it. It's obviously it's not present. It doesn't look like it's ever been threaded in. So we'll have to try hunt down a second horn for this. And on that topic of options it didn't have but is wired for, it has the hood light wiring right here. So we'll have to get ourselves a hood light for it. That will be very, very much needed because that goes right there. I gotta go in and I gotta make a trip for some parts for supplies for this, supplies for that, supplies for this. I'm gonna go pick up at least one more engine stand I might get to if they have to. Just the cheap $99 ones. That way I can put this transmission on a stand and the new engine when it comes in, because I want to service this transmission, pull the pan off, drop the filter, drain the fluid, you know, new filter, reseal it, fresh fluid. Obviously, if we're pulling it out of the dang engine bay, we might as well do that, you know. And same thing with the engine. When I get this engine, I'll probably freshen it up while it's out, you know, do the rear main seal, etc., etc. So I'm going to need 2 stands for that, because all of my stands have engines and transmissions on them. Oh, and this is behind the wiper tray. What in the heck are they doing there with that mangled hole? Like, they were doing something, right? Like, that's funny looking. I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing something. That's odd. I got all the front grill pieces out. Those plastics are in rough shape. So, a few things I noticed here. You can see all the overspray here. They had the plastic piece off here when they sprayed this. As you can see, it's all in there everywhere. I also saw a run, right? You can see that little bit of a run they wet sanded out of it, it looks like. But, yeah. But they didn't bend anything. Like, they must have just sideswiped something, or something sideswiped it. It must have just bent in the fender here, because it cracked the plastic engine cover. But, like, none of this is all bent up. This all looks straight. So, just a minor, well, moderate, according to the Carfax, scrape here. It should be pretty bare in here. I was looking at these coolant lines and stuff. This line is in rough shape right here. That's gonna have to figure something out about that. I don't know if I'll have to get like a copper line that's that thick. That's gonna cost a pretty penny. That's plumbing territory. But or zip tie a soft line up through here maybe. I don't know, because it's soft line all the way through, all the way to here. As you can see, somebody's replaced this before, because look at that. That's quite an odd run. That is a long run. But I guess you got to be out of the way of this stuff. That's how it goes. What? What? Somebody wants in. Somebody made a mistake. What, Mr. Honey? Yeah. Yeah, you. You think I'm going to let you in? You want it out. Psh, my grimy hands. Yeah, I'm sure you like that. What? Suppose I ought to let him in, huh? Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying, I'll probably end up running a soft line, because, look at this. There ain't no way that doesn't leak. So, well, Engine bay's looking pretty empty. I got the power steering all out of there. I got the speedo gear cable unhooked. That's just, I took a Crescent wrench and you just spin it off and it pops out. That's easy enough. I got the shift cable undone, as well as the kickdown cable, the whole throttle cable assembly that's out of there. It's nice and free too. It's in there, good to go. The only things, I got this coolant line undone here. The only thing holding this in right now is 1, 2, 3 motor mounts and CV axles.
The next day.
Well, we got some of it stripped down. I'm getting there anyway. I just got the manifolds to get off. That thing is junk. That is junk. That is junk. That's junk because it was cut. I got all the caps off. It was seized mostly on this back one. It looks, well, it was seized on all of them, but you know. The only roller over here that spins is number 3 here. The others are all seized. I think I could get number 1 to free up, but 3 was the only one that spins. And then over here, if you look on the intake, I was getting ready to get the bolts out, and well, it was missing one, and one is loose. So that's good. I also noticed this. Somebody's been in here before at some point. I don't know what's supposed to bolt here. That's how it is. The exhaust, the little baffle thing for the O2 sensors seen better days, but you know, I don't see any cracks in it so far, which is good. But it looks like we pull the intake bolts out, we can sneak them all out that way, and then you get access to the exhaust bolts. And I suppose that's how it'll go back on. But we definitely need to hunt down a bolt for that, and then we need a new throttle body, that's for sure. And then obviously we need exhaust bolts and the donut gasket. We gotta put that on the list as well. I'm gonna try, I'd like to leave this on here, but I suppose it'll be very difficult to do that in one go, so I guess I'll have to take this off and get EGR gaskets too. Whatever. Now there's the head all tore down. Doesn't look so bad from this side, you know, like it's but take a look down the ports here. That one's not very good. That one's okay. That one's That one's oh boy, there's a good one. That one's okay, and then that one's kind of not very good. Anyway, it's worth something in scrap metal, right? So I'll hang on to it until I know if I need certain. I'll probably pull all these bolts off after we get the new engine assembled, pull the sensors out, the other coolant sensor. Otherwise, the exhaust manifold looks okay. The intake manifold needs a flushing, that's for sure. It's got some crap in it, a lot of corrosion, but that should be fine. The only one of these, I think I mentioned, that wasn't seized. There was one that wasn't seized. It was this one right here. But these are junk. Throw all these away. Keep the hardware and stuff. Here's that piece off that plastic intake that I should have just unbolted instead of manhandling off, but whatever. Weird looking cam seals, but those are garbage. These are rock hard, by the way. Keep that. The caps are trash. The thermostat looked pretty good, actually. 192 thermostat. It actually looks really decent. That's probably okay. That's junk, but I gotta keep that until we know for sure we've got a good one. That I'm gonna toss. That camshaft I'll sell you guys $300. I just had it milled. It's good to go. Well, for grins, I decided to unseize this head. As you can see, we've got 7 of the 8 valves hooked up. This valve is free. I've kind of popped between them. But as you can see, the cam now spins, and the valve's open, and they shut. This one's kind of sticky, but this is a good valve right here. That one's doing all the work. But it does go all the way around, and it does spin, so I don't know. I don't know why I did that, but there you go. It's unseized. Front suspension and axles are out of it. Found a couple of things. Flap. I don't know why that's there, but it's there. Somebody's definitely been into this vehicle before. The brake hoses are in great shape. For once, we don't have to replace those on a vehicle. You know, that's always something good here. Save a little money here. The outer tie rods are relatively new. The inners got a little play. This one's not so bad. The passenger side's definitely got some play in it. The rust I'm finding is starting to scare me. This is a critical point right here because the cradle bolts up to that, and it's pretty kind of crunchy looking around it. It's not looking good, I'll tell you that. Otherwise, the subframe is in phenomenal shape. There's no rot in the subframe. The driver's side mount here is pretty rough looking, actually. Passenger side's not as bad. The passenger side I would maybe ignore. The driver's side, I don't think we can ignore that. This is one of those things from when it sits, because I mean, like, it's not that rusty, but like, whatever happened up here is not good. I don't know. Battery exploded in this thing, and it like went everywhere, and it like caused advanced corrosion. I don't know. This is concerning right here. This is slightly concerning. It's in between these layers of metal. You see this metal's expanded out here? It's rusted in between this panel and the frame. I mean, there's some structure up here, so it's not like the end of the world, but there's definitely some rot too, you know. I don't think that'll be a problem. The subframe definitely needs addressed at some point, like not right away, like it's not gonna fall off, but like to make this thing long-term on the road, that subframe needs to be dropped and replaced, in which case somebody will go through, we'll go new ball joints, you know, all of the bushings and everything, do up these control arms. Might as well really look at that rack very closely. You know, if that's got to get taken care of, you better take care of it while that's out, you know. But that's just something I've noticed. But at least we don't have to replace the brake hoses. How do the bearings feel? I can't tell with that rotor, but they move. The axles are kind of, I think they'll be okay for now. I think the bearings are okay. I don't know. This brake hose is just as good shape. The only difference is the bracket didn't rust off, even though it got close. I unbolted it. But this side, similar-ish story here. Kind of crusty right here. Although, you know, like I said, not as bad as the driver's side. I don't know what happened to this van. It's got some weird rust. All right, stand is assembled. I greased everything up because the wheels were getting seasy, so that helped a lot. I'm gonna get the van lowered down as low as we can. That still clears those. And, well, let's get to it. Well, there it is. That was an ordeal, as it always is. I was kind of sketched out by this, waiting for that to slip, and they didn't, so whatever. That worked out, I guess. Alright, we're gonna win. I got the two bottom ones out, and then I was able to get in here with the open end of this wrench, and I undid this all the way out to where I can flex the torque converter off. But I took that pry bar, and I flexed on the the flywheel, and I'm on that last bolt. So if we can loosen that, we can start backing it out. I think we'll be fine here. So, a little bit of prying, but I think we'll get it. Well, that's how you do that, I guess. I don't think I bent the flex plate. It should flex, so in theory we're good. More evidence that somebody was here. One, that cover bolt was loose, and two, it's blue and green on that rear main seal. What? Yeah, so I think somebody's done this rear main. I think this engine's pretty well been out of here at some point, considering what I've seen, so I don't know. All I do know is it's junk, so we just gotta finish stripping a couple more pieces off of it, and we should be good to go. It's possible that's not the original block. You never know, but the block is dated February 20th of 89, but the van itself is November of 89, and just from what I remember, which, who knows, usually the block date is pretty close to the date of the build date, because they don't keep this, they don't let this thing sit around for 7 months while they're, waiting to build the bodies. They kind of keep rolling them out at the same time. That's my take on that anyway. It might not be original. I know somebody's been in it, that's for sure. Definitely had a timing set done and everything at some point, but definitely had work done. There you go. Well, that's the end of that block. don't know what this thing drove in last time it was running, but it splattered like dirt or mud everywhere. Well, at night it for sure looks burgundy, maroon, purple, whatever color this is. It looks pretty good anyway. So I did spray it. We pressure washed it, and then I came back afterwards. I sprayed it again. I scrubbed it with a couple of rags, pressure washed it again. Looks pretty good. Here's the rust. I tried to get in here really good and blow off all the loose rust and paint and whatever. So there's the extent of it, at least on this side. And I think I have an idea where it started from. If you look right here, it's rippled. I don't know if this was part of the accident that happened on the front right, or just unrelated and an undocumented accident, or what. But it was wrecked at some point here, and this got pulled out. But my thought is it probably chipped the paint, and it started to rust underneath it, kind of worked its way around. That would be my hunch. So it was wrecked on this side at some point. And I don't know if that's related to this bumper being pulled out the way it is, or not, or what. I don't know. And then I came in up here first, and I took this out and I blew out the mouse nest that was in here, blew out both drains, so they drain. And then I pulled off the little inner fender liners, sprayed up in here at the rust. As you can see, it's in this seam here. Really bad, but, you know, what do you do? Cleaned all that out. I did the same thing on the other side as well. We got it all cleaned out. Hopefully it should dry-ish tonight. I don't know, the rain's going to 50-50 or something. I don't know, it might rain. It'll turn to snow Tuesday after it gets cold. Tomorrow's should be warmish, but we'll see. Look at how clean that power steering line came. There's paint and writing on it. Look at those. And then this one, look at that. That's kind of wild. That's how you could... I don't know, it looks cool. That's how you tell a low-mile car usually, if that stuff's just there like that. We found it, though, underneath all the stuff. That looks cool. It's really cool, actually. But, it cleaned up okay, I think. I think it cleaned up okay. There, I got the shop lights turned on, and, we're getting ready to pressure wash that real quick. I had it soaking and super clean. I done 2 soaks, and I'm gonna get 1 more spray, and then we're gonna turn that thing from black to aluminum colored, I think. Find out anyway. Well, what do you think of that for turning it to silver? We'll get a good look at it once it's back in the garage, but that's night and day. Literally. Yeah, it's a whole different... I think it was just absolutely caked in oil. Yeah, that engine must have leaked a lot of oil before it decided to seize up. I did go in, I ordered everything we needed. Well, I picked and chose what we needed so we could put it back together, at least as far as the engine goes, and whatever. I think I spent like $340 too much. $340 too much. It was like $340 on Rock Auto. It should all be here by next Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving. And then the engine should, in theory, be back the week after that. So that's the timeline I'm working with. In the meantime, I'm going to do an oil change on the Ope I tonight. Okay, in this mess over here is our transmission and all of our like intake and engine parts that we need to keep. So the transmission turned out pretty good. As you can see here, filter kit came. So we got a filter kit for it. This dipstick, the top piece was spinning free, the bottom piece. So I put some Ultra Gray RTV on that and I let that set up. And now that's looking fantastic. That's ready for just a pan drop and a filter change, and then this will be good to go. And then over here, I got some stuff to discuss. The intake needs to be cleaned out really good. I need to flush this out, clean it out. Whatever's going on in here needs to be taken care of. Exhaust, probably about the same thing, but not as bad. EGR. So, the 89, 90 Caravans and Voyagers with this 2.5, the parts listings for these vans is very spotty. And if, let's say, you're buying stuff from Rock Auto, you're going to have to hop between the Caravan, the Voyager, the 89, the 90, and you can find some stuff in between all of them, but the stuff isn't listed right. And I don't even think it's Rock Auto's fault. I think it's, I don't know, whatever parts catalog they get all their information from or got. For example, EGR. This EGR is unobtainium, by the way. As far as I can tell, it's pretty unobtainium. And the parts listing for this is not that number. So I ended up actually finding it is a Wells EGV 324. I found a couple of new old stock listed on eBay that is supposed to cross-reference with this, which the pictures lined up with everything. We have to replace ours because here it's a Maraca. In here is rotted out, and as you can see, this is rotted away. So this EGR is shot. We could have made a block-off plate and whatever, and it'd have been fine, but I found it was Wells EGV 324. I don't know how available those will be in the long run, and or if there's any other alternatives in stock. But that was kind of a pain. I did find one, so we're good. And then this thing right here, this throttle body that is in very poor shape. These are also very unobtainium. I do know the location of a throttle body. If I so need one, I can go get it if it's still there. I do know where one is. I ordered every single rebuild part for this. You can get the gasket for it, which I couldn't find under Voyager. Any of the Voyager listings, 89, 90, couldn't find this. The gasket kit, the rebuild kit wasn't listed. Now, if you look under 90 Caravan, there's a rebuild kit for this, and one in stock, a whole rebuilt one. So I don't know what the differences are. There isn't, as far as I'm aware. So I ordered that gasket kit, and then I also had ordered this fuel pressure regulator and the injector, and I ordered a new throttle sensor and the IAC valve, which is right there. So I ordered everything to rebuild this. We're going to try take it apart. And if I can get it apart, I'm going to put it in that brand new ultrasonic cleaner that's buried under the engine computer that we might not need. So I will try to clean it and we'll try to rebuild it. If it doesn't come apart well or whatever, we'll use the rebuild kit on the one I go get at this undisclosed location that you will probably hear about if we go and get it. I'll probably go and get it at some point anyway when I go to get other parts, just because I have learned how unobtainium these throttle bodies are. Hard, not unobtainium, you can get them, I'm sure, but you can't get them new, it seems, or rebuilt. Nobody does it, it seems. But, yeah, parts are a little hard to get for these 2.5s, because I suppose nobody has them anymore. And nobody wants to buy parts, so then they don't make parts. Well, I'm buying parts, so please make them. Anyway, this thing, all the orifices are super clogged up. The thing I'm worried about most is that throttle plate is very crusty. I've been soaking it and spraying it and respraying it, and it's seized good. That's my worry right there. That's not coming out. And those screws are the screw heads are they don't exist anymore. So I'm gonna tear it down. It's in a couple pieces. You get this top plate off. There's another plate. And then you've got all the internals here. So we're going to rip this thing down to nothing. Try to clean it up. As you can see, there's a bolt here, and then there's that one. I don't know how this is going to go. It's probably not going to go very well. We've already snapped one stud off here, but we can get that out. Anyway, I'm going to give it a shot. I'll let you know how this turns out. It's probably not going to go very well, but I'm going to try. You know, I figure, who has done a rebuild on a 2.5 liter throttle body for a Dodge Caravan on YouTube? I haven't really looked, so maybe somebody has, but I'm assuming probably not. And I've never taken one apart. So I figure we'll document it, maybe. I'll try. If this comes apart, you will probably see this. If it doesn't, you'll probably see me do this on the other one. We're going to try this. It looks like it's all a bunch of star-tipped hardware. I'm going to get a torch right off the go. And here I have hammer that I picked up out of the middle of the street a couple of years ago. That is going to be very helpful here too. Okay, so what do we want to take off first? Probably this regulator. And that is going to be this 25 right here. Just kind of shock it too, on top of making sure that it's seated. But we can always get a vice grip on that too. I don't know, we'll see. We'll just hope the hardware comes out first. So, but that actually looks pretty good. Try to keep this hardware together here so I know what I'm doing. That one, I don't know. We'll go for this one next. Maybe a screwdriver to dig these out. I don't know. Wouldn't be a bad idea. There. Try to dig some of this corrosion out of here. So this might not come apart as hard as I thought it would. It just looks really bad. Yeah, the rest of that bolt looks good. Okay, next. Now here's the other thing. I'm not going to throw away any of these parts until I have everything new on hand to rebuild it with. Just because you never know. Alright, our guy, he's kind of moving. Do I need like a pry tool or something? He's in there good. I'm sure there's an O-ring here or something, right? Not forgetting anything, right? I'm assuming it's just stuck. I can feel it wiggling. Jeez. Oh my god. Okay. Got that out. So we're gonna say that was bad, right? Got him out. He's just really stuck in there. So he's got a gasket and he's got an O-ring on the bigger pipe. So just the 3 for that, and then just the 1 for this injector plug, which looks like should have had an O-ring. It doesn't right now. I wonder if that's been replaced before. Now I'm assuming that's supposed to come out, right? Am I gonna need like a pliers to pull him out? Got it. There it goes. Okay. Maybe not. We'll try it. We'll try it. No, it went. Wow. Maybe I just needed the bigger wrench or ratchet. No. No, it will not. Okay. Now this one is up under here where this IAC is. So I'm actually going to remove that first. And he actually looks like he's in really good shape from this side. He's protected. Now those are T25s. Oh, it's actually in the way. We actually have to remove that. Well, that solves that problem. So, I don't know what this is. I think we're going to find out, though. I don't want to hold this. That. I think it's fun. Yeah, it did. Cat, what are you doing? Hey, stop it. Okay. Now that IAC should come out of there. That IAC should come out of there. Should. Little persuasion. Told you, that was never going to do what it was supposed to. Now that inside needs super cleaned and we need to sand down the surface that this is on. Now the IAC itself probably works, but the fact that this is like this is, it's not going to seal very good. So, and it probably won't seal very good unless we clean that up either. So that's good. Okay. So that brings us back to this guy right here. And I'm going to hit this. That's where he threads in. Now we're going to heat the ever-living crap out of it. While trying to not melt this connector. What just happened there was very not good. Gotcha. Well, that did the trick. Got it drilled out, got the head drilled out. Here it is right here, actually. And it got this top plate off, which then allowed me to get the connector for the injector out, so that's good to have that out of the way. But here we are right here. As you can see, a little drilling, but not too bad. As you can see, the sides are super rusty, so that bolt there is rusted in there pretty good. But the good thing here is we can get a vice grip on that, heat that up, and that should come out, and then we just got to replace that bolt right there. Screw, bolt, whatever you want to call it. Next is this middle plate here, which has got all your fuel passages and stuff in it, it looks like. So it looks like that's going to be 1, 2... Is there a third one in there? There's more bolts in here somewhere. There's a couple here. We'll find them. Oh, they're... What? What? Oh, I see. So it looks like it might just be these two. These two bolts here held the front of it. So it looks like it'll just be these two. So that should be this middle piece here. This should, yep, just comes right off. That gives us access. This fuel injector doesn't even look that bad. The tip looks pretty good down here. So we still got to get it out. It is an OEM injector. It's a Bosch Chrysler injector. Okay, so I scraped all around the edges here and everything, and then I sprayed this bearing, and then I heated this up a couple times, and I'm just starting to see it go like this. It's just starting to rock. I can see this upper butterfly starting to move. So I think we're going to win. I think we're going to get it to break free. So I'm just going to keep working at it here. Hopefully it'll break free, and then I'll just keep moving it till it works and it springs back. But I think it's starting to move. Well, I think we did it. If you look at this, not long after I turned the camera off, I got it to start moving, like I said, and then it kept oiling it, and it freed up pretty quickly. So we got that saved. And then I spent some time cleaning out all the orifices. Well, I got the transpan dropped out here, and it looks pretty okay. So, what is this, an SP filter, I guess? I don't see any Pentastar on that, so it's been changed. We know it's been changed because it's got a cork gasket. Then you come down here on the magnet, and we've got something funny. Oh, what is this? It's a little magnet or something. What do you think that's from? So that was stuck to it, this little guy. And then just a bunch of fuzzies, but nothing too abnormal there from what I can tell. What do you think that was from? Okay, so I don't know that I've gone over this band adjustment before, but there's two band adjustments you can make. You got the low reverse band, which is this band right here. And then there is an adjustment for the kickdown band, which is up top right here. Anyway, to adjust this band right here, you're going to want to loosen this nut up. The manual says like 5 turns right here. And then you want to tighten that adjusting screw to 41 inch-pounds, which I'm going to use this right here. And I'm just going to go in just like this and tighten that. And then you're supposed to back it off 3.5 turns after that. So maybe put like a white Sharpie on one of the ends of this and just slowly back it off with maybe a wrench or something. It's a 5.5 millimeter, just so you're aware. And then you tighten this guy up to like 10 foot-pounds, I think, right? Yes, 10 foot-pounds on the lock nut. And then for the kickdown up top there, it's loosen it, what, 5 turns. Make sure it's free turning, and then tighten to 47 to 50 inch-pounds, and then tighten the adjusting screw to, if adapter is not used, tighten adjusting screw to 72 inch-pounds, which is true torque. Okay, so you tighten this, because we're just going to use a socket. It's a 72 inch-pounds, and then back off, I think it's 3.5 as well. And then tighten the lock nut to 35. It is 2.5 turns on the kickdown. Right there. 72 inch-pounds on the kickdown, 2.5 turns, 41 inch-pounds, 3.5 turns. There you go, right there. Okay, so we backed the lock nut all the way off. We tightened this down to 41 inch-pounds, and then we backed it off 3.5 turns. And then we tighten this down good and tight is how I went with that, because you ain't getting a torque, I don't know, wrench while holding this nut guy. So it's good and tight. It wasn't that tight to begin with. Now that's all done. We're going to put the pan, or the filter on, put the pan on. Oh, speaking of pan, the last guy that was in here left some gouges. Like, wow, I don't know what he was digging with. So I'll probably have to fill these with RTV just so to make sure this doesn't leak. But that should be good to go as far as in here. Once we get that on, I'll probably adjust this guy right here, and then we'll do these two, this cover and the differential, inspect it, put it all back together, seal it up, and then that transmission should be good to go, at least for the next 20,000-30,000 miles, hopefully. We'll see. Okay, I got the pan cleaned up, all the surfaces cleaned up, new gasket on. I put a little RTV in those 2 big gouges. And then I got all the bolts tightened down to, I don't know, not good and tight, but like snug. These don't have to be super tight. If you over tighten them, that's how your pan leaks, because it kind of warps and crushes the gasket too much and kind of flexes the pan. So they're tight, but not like tight. So that's all done there. That's just about there. I should have it on this go right here. That's it right there. That's 72. And then we got to back that off 2.5 turns. So wherever my paint pen went, we want to mark. Let's go ahead. And there's 2.5 turns backed off. And then we'll go ahead and get our adjuster nut here. We'll spin him back on. sure we don't mess up our little guy here. So there, he's straight up and down where he should be. Wrench. There we go. There. And there we go. That is the kickdown band adjusted, so this transmission is fully adjusted and serviced. Well, I popped this computer apart, and it looked okay, except the one of the capacitors that kind of sticks out was it was kind of blowed up. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll put this on the shelf, and we're gonna go ahead and use this new one, which I opened up here, and I figured we'd take you along with it because it's kind of cool. So if you look here, it is a Mopar remanufactured throttle body for 2.5 TBI automatic transmission, federal emissions, August 31st of 2000, remanufactured in the USA. That's the part number for it. I thought that was kind of cool. So we'll throw that here. And then here's this guy right here. I figure we'll open him up together. Tape has been removed. So you get some paperwork here. Quality control, airmail. That's kind of cool. March 2000 on that. And then we've got, here's the language I speak. Opar remanufactures single board engine controller, removal and instructions. Revision 6 and 99. I've never seen this before. This is kind of cool. Ooh, troubleshooting tips. That's kind of cool information here. It's actually a really cool booklet. Oh, look at this. It's got all the fault codes in it. Look at that. Wow, this is actually kind of a really cool booklet. Oh, and here's all the part numbers. Oh, this book is actually really cool. This is actually worth having. Look at that. And it's got, this is just, yeah, through 95, 89, 90, 91 to 95. Month, 12,000 mile warranty. I'm assuming that warranty is void. And then you've got another language there. That's kind of cool. That's actually really cool. And then we've got this bad boy right here, which we have to transfer that. I just put that back on too. I wasn't thinking about that. We got this here, and look at that fancy sticker there. August 29th of 2000. That's cool. See that green capacitor? That's the one that's blown up in this one right here. That's what it's supposed to look like. Oh, that's awesome. Anyway, I figured I'd just show you guys that. That was kind of cool. So I'm out here. I just got this motor mount off. We've got a cat in the background that wanted outside so bad. And now he's like, it's cold out and I want inside. And I just happened to spot that right there. That bolt's rusty. That's been there a while. What is this? Look at that. I think that's a motor mount bolt. An old one. Look at that. So, another evidence that somebody's been here before me. That's kind of neat. as you can see, the weather's not so nice anymore. It's cold and it's windy. I got a vice grip on there, and I got 2 brand new Stabulous struts, which these should be OEM, I believe. These are OEM for Chrysler, and probably most hatch struts, to be honest. But I'm gonna throw those in quick, so I'll swap this one, and then I should be able to do that one because the one will kind of help hold it for me. But problem is this behind this trim. But this trim is pretty broke, so we might be able to sneak in there. Otherwise, I don't know. Do I have to pull the trim off to do these ones? That kind of sucks, actually. We'll see what I do. All right, well, I got that one in, and the hatch is now holding itself up. Although, when I had that one in the garage, it had some pressure to it, the one I took out. So, maybe they're both just weak. So, we'll get this one out quick. This trim's not as broken, so it might be harder to get at that. I might have to pull this out here. That one was already missing, so, you know. But yeah, this trim is not in good shape. I'm not that worried about it. So we'll get this one out, get that swapped over, and we'll be good. Here's how they go. They've got it's kind of funny how they work. So I've got a washer here. This is supposed to have like a rubber grommet here that's gone on that one. It's got it up here though, so it's kind of sits like that. Newer ones have like an actual joint. See, the rubber's wore out of that one. And it looks like there's a rubber here. It's in the wrong spot. I think somebody's replaced these before. That rubber's in the wrong spot. I think I'm going to take that rubber and put it up here. Because this spot kind of flexes the most, I would say. So, I think these have been replaced once. And we're here for seconds. There, 2 new hatch struts in. It holds itself up. It's actually almost too strong. I almost was better off keeping one good one and one kind of iffy one. The 2 in there have power. They're just not good enough together. I did find a rubber hose, like a rubber plasticky hose, and I made bushings for both of these. And I did go back and I put one in here because without those bushings, they bind and they creak. So it shouldn't do that now. I'll take my tools out here. And that washer, it was right. It just looks like it got squeezed. I don't know. It wore out is what it is. So should be able to. Yeah, and it doesn't creak anymore. It creaked the first time. I need to go and do that on Blue Van, the 90. I'm pretty sure it needs the rubber bushings, but look at that. Yeah, I think if we did that on Blue Van, it would help a lot, because Blue Van kind of has issues with the hatch. Like, one, that they're too strong, and then two, that. Yeah, you gotta have those rubber bushings just like that. I'd almost argue you'd want one on both sides. Maybe thin this one up just a little and put another one like that. But that seems to, because I guess it is just pressing on this side anyway. So, yeah, that worked though. Big improvement there. There, it still doesn't lock, but at least now we can take that trim off and get the mouse nest out of the bottom and try to free that up. Oh, it is so cold out here. Well, today my table is clean, believe it or not. I'm going through some parts here, and right here I've got the gasket kit came in, and I ended up buying, because it actually made the most monetary sense based on what I need. I needed a gasket here, a gasket here, a gasket there. This kit with everything was cheaper than buying all the gaskets separate. So that includes head gaskets, rear main, front main, all the valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets, everything. And I think it's all in this kit, but I wasn't sure if there was going to be another package coming with the rest of the kit. I'm pretty sure it's all in here because it includes a bunch of different stuff. Anyway, you know what that means, right? We're going to do the head gaskets and everything on that new motor when it comes in. That's the smart thing to do. And luckily, it made financial sense to do it that way. But what I was on the hunt for is I was cleaning up the exhaust manifold surfaces. I wanted to see if this gasket, there should be 2 of these. I wanted to make sure if that was in here because I was going to crack these bolts loose and replace that gasket while I'm just here. So, it's got this kit in it, which this kit looks like, I don't know what that's for. Is that oil pan or, that's water pump. I think that's water pump right there. I'm not sure what those two, maybe those are for the oil pan. Yeah, those are probably the bridge pieces for the oil pan, because here's the other pieces for the oil pan, right here and here, I think. Yeah, and those are probably like the bridge pieces if you didn't like put an RTV bridge. And then we've got a bunch of like front main seals and stuff, like cam seals and crank seals. So a fat pile of them right there. That's the rear main right there. And then this should be the valve cover gasket. And then we've got valve stem seals. And then we've got ourselves a head gasket. Look at that beautiful head gasket. There's the intake and exhaust manifold gasket. And there's the EGR and stuff in this kit. And there's the water pump gas. I don't know what that gasket is. This is like oil pump stuff, maybe? This might be for like oil. This might be for like oil pump stuff and then oil pan. And we'll use most of this stuff. I don't know if we'll use all of it, but you know. This is what I wanted in here. So there's the EGR gasket, and then here's the 2 tube gaskets. And then there's like a water neck gasket. Yeah, water pump gasket, inner water pump maybe. I don't know. Is it like a 2-piece pump? I don't know. Bunch of different stuff. And that's what I was looking for, so I'm gonna replace this gasket here while I got it in here, you know. Might as well. So there's times where they say you should just leave well enough alone. This would have been one of those times. As you can see, we snapped both off, and as you can see, it's smoking, so you know I used heat. I don't know how much we could do about that. Almost kind of looks like a hint of rust on the ends of that anyway, like where it was already compromised. That's what that seems to suggest to me. See the discoloration. I don't think we were going to win that fight, no matter what we did. So, that's got to get drilled out, unfortunately. So I'll probably take the grinder and actually cut these off. I'll try get a vice grip on the end of that, and we'll see what happens. But I'll probably have to grind them off flush, hit them with a punch, and then just drill them out. So, not a big deal, but annoying, I guess. Hey, it'll keep me busy now. Well, step 1 of that, got those ground down flush. Got this all cleaned up, too, while I was in there. So, looking decent-ish. I also was looking really closely at that O2 sensor, and I'm like, I really don't want to have to do that after we're done. So I went and I ordered one. So we're gonna, well, here's what convinced me. I was looking at it, I'm like, I could probably get at that. And then I saw this, and then I'm like, how long that been like that? I should probably order one. So I did. That'll be here at some point, so we'll get this out as well. Yeah. And then this will be fully refurbed, I guess. This van's getting a full resto as far as the mechanicals go. This is great. Great. Definitely deserves it. That's for sure. Alright, and that's how a 10-minute gasket change turns into a 2-hour drill out, tap, you know, rethread, whatever, ordeal. Something I want to point out here, for sure, is after you're done drilling your manifolds, rinse them out. Because the last thing a guy wants is metal shavings getting sucked up, either if you're drilling in the intake right in, or getting sucked right through this EGR and get spit right back out into the intake. That is not something we want. So I flushed this out in not the kitchen sink. I wouldn't do that in the kitchen sink. Nope, did not do that in the kitchen sink. It's been flushed out. It's good to go. I cleaned out this tube here, cleaned off the gasket surface. I tapped the bolts here. They are M8 by 125 is what I tapped it to. We tapped them perfectly center. They're not off center. They're not off center. It's perfect. There's no issues here. They are not off center. Real talk, they're a little off center. The first one, this one down here was close-ish. And then when I started drilling, I think it was this one, it was peening off to the side, unfortunately. So what I ended up doing is I tapped the first hole, and then I bolted this guy up to it. That way I could use this to kind of guide it and also waller this out so it would fit. So it fits and it still lines up, and I'm going to bolt the gasket on, and she'll be mint. Ta-da! Good as new. Blow through it. It blows through into the, exhaust manifold just fine. And it looks good too. So, glad to have that done. I'm glad we did it, because otherwise it would have leaked, and it would have been a nightmare when we snapped them off when it was on the vehicle. That is why you do that. 182. Fuel tank in it and everything. All right. Well, I just had a motor pulled out of this van. It's a 94, 95 Caravan. And hopefully this works for us. I just wanted to come out and take a look and verify the mileage. Looks pretty good though. Poor old thing.